When I was growing up, I used to go down to the South and visit some of my family members. I used to go to Alabama. But when I was in Alabama, I used to be kind of mischievous. I used to kick over these little ant hills, and one day I kicked over this ant hill, and these little red ants came out and bit the living crap out of me. Those were fire ants. And believe me, fire ants do bite and they do sting. Unfortunately, in this type of video, I expect that the critics are going to always post their nasty comments at the bottom. So now I decided to look at it like this. Every time I kick over an anthill, I'm expected the ants to come out and attack. So this is what I'm going to do. In this video, I'm going after the Republican Party once again for taking the advice of a conservative talker who makes $400 million for the next 16 years, and also taking the principles away from those who are going to eventually support the Republicans if the Democratic president happens to fail in life. Well, I'm not going to say it's failing in life. I'm going to say failed policies. As I begin, I want to say this is the party that is now invested in being the party of no. This is the Rush Publican Party. This is not the Republican Party. This is not the Grand Old Party. This is the Rush Publican Party. This is the party that Rush Limbaugh created, because this is the party where John Boehner, Eric Cantor, and many other so-called Rush Publicans believe and follow the ideals and principles of Rush Limbaugh. They're not going to worry about Michael Steele. Michael Steele is irrelevant. As I begin in this video, I once again want to talk about what's going on in my community, what's going on with the government, and of course the corrupt mainstream media. I want you to post your comments at the bottom, and thank you for visiting me on YouTube. For all critics who are watching, prove me wrong. As the CPAC convention begins, I noticed that a lot of conservatives are going to go to that little hotel outside of Washington, D.C., and there's going to be millions of people who are going to probably invest in this thing. And unfortunately, there are going to be those who are very controversial, like Ann Coulter, for example, Rush Limbaugh, Mike Huckabee, Mitt Romney. There are going to be a whole lot of people attending that CPAC convention. It's going to probably have thousands of people. But during that time, I hear a lot of talk about how the Democrats are going to start fighting back against the conservative talk radio. They're threatening conservative talk radio with this so-called fairness doctrine, or what they call it, the censorship doctrine. Sometimes I think to myself that with this partisan bickering, there's going to be a straw being pulled for the last time. And Rush Limbaugh had got under Barack Obama's skin. He said he wanted the president to fail. And he didn't say it like he wants President Obama to fail literally. He said his policies, if his policies were leaning towards socialists, he wants it to fail. But even though Barack Obama kind of dismissed it, he told the Republican Party they can't get nothing done if they listen to Rush Limbaugh. And that started this big firestorm against the conservative talk radio. Rush Limbaugh is very controversial. He has said so many outrageous things, and he's never been pulled off the radio for it. He's been fired from ABC because he has said something negative about Donovan McNabb, but in turn, Donovan McNabb even regretfully said that in football, he didn't think there was ever going to be a tie. Unfortunately, in America, we have to listen to this kind of nonsense coming from the conservative talk radio, because conservatives dominated the economic debate for the last 2 months, and they've been getting a lot of airplay on Fox News or MSNBC or even CNN. The conservative news channel Fox has been pushing against Barack Obama, and Barack Obama has pushed back. Now, as president, the president will now have to focus on really what's going on with the energy crisis, the education in American schools, and of course the economy. But as many people hate the fact that the president has made this decision of taking $787 billion to try to fix the economy, many people like Rush Limbaugh, my Congressman John Boehner, and Virginia Congressman the Whip, Eric Cantor, they're invested in saying no. They don't want no big government. They don't want no more taxes. They don't want to have this big debt. But of course, they were willing to go with President Bush when he had passed this little economic stimulus package back in 2008. Thank you, President Bush, for giving me my $800, I guess. One thing is for sure is that during the CPAC convention, you're going to expect a lot of conservative talkers to be there. And believe it or not, Rush Limbaugh and Ann Coulter, Mitt Romney, Mike Huckabee, Ron Paul, and the Libertarian Party, there's going to be the NRA, there's going to be the Council of well, foreign affairs. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to attend this event. Even though there might be some liberals who are hanging around trying to catch every controversial comment, unfortunately, they're not going to really get no play because the Conservative Action Political Committee is very, very, very secretive. One thing is for sure that Rush Limbaugh will be around. And despite how many times people criticize him, he's still going to get louder and stronger. It's up to you and me to defeat this type of nonsense by ignoring him. He's an entertainer. Along with him, there's also Sean Hannity, Glenn Beck, Bill O'Reilly, Ann Coulter, Michelle Malkin, The Drudge Report. There's Michael Savage. There's plenty of them out there. All of them are conservative. All of them are outrageously controversial. But yet they have a voice out there just like you and me. You can't silence them, but you can ignore them. The only thing I can say for Rush Limbaugh is he's still making his money. Despite how many people hate him, despite how many people may love him and worship every word he says, he's still going to be around. And when he loses his hearing for good, he's still going to be on radio, still ranting and raving because he does what he does. And I only give him credit for one thing. He's not afraid to step against Barack Obama being the president of the United States. If he wants President Barack Obama to fail, sure enough, America fails. But when everything goes well, will anybody listen to Rush Limbaugh? So as I stated again, when I kick over this anthill, will you expect the swarm of ants to start biting? Because I know conservatives are watching, and they always got something smart to say. And of course, they want to say I'm on a plantation. That's to one of those users who said something about me being on a liberal plantation. Yeah, whatever, dog. One thing is for clear is that I'm an American citizen, and I don't care what you think about me. All I gotta do is post these videos, and thank you once again. Thank you, Rush Limbaugh, for being who you are. You inspire millions of others to even post videos to criticize you. Whether you like it or not, that's what he does. Tough.